Good evening. I couldn't resist it. Good evening and welcome along to AFTV News Daily. Hope you guys have had yourself a great day. Got a special guest on with me tonight. We've got Pippa.
Hey, special guest, yeah?
Yeah, special guest, man. I thought I'd bring a bit of glamour.
Oh.
You know what I mean? After having all these, Kelechi's, Lee Gunner, people like that, Ford, need to bring a bit of glamour to the show. But no, it's great to have you on. How are you doing?
I'm all right, I'm super tired. It's been a long day, but I'm doing okay.
How you been coping with the coronavirus thing?
It's crazy times, but for me, life hasn't changed much because I still have to go to work. I'm a key worker, so I'm still active. So most of the days I'm outside, which I can't lie to you, I'm scared to be out. But it's my routine's pretty much the same because I'm always at work and then I come home and then. But I've been coping pretty well. The streets are quiet where I work. It's like a no man's land.
Yeah, I mean, it must be crazy being out there, streets of London at the moment. It must be deserted out there.
Yeah, literally, I walk around, I'm just like, wow, where's everyone? Or at home, obviously, where they should be.
Well, yeah, it should be. When I was doing the show last night with Kelechi, as I said, I saw an ice cream van out on the road. I couldn't believe it.
Who's he selling?
Ice cream van.
In there?
Huh?
He's not selling ice cream in there.
It was. It was an ice cream van out there on the road selling. I was like, what is going on? I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it, man. But
did he have customers?
Huh?
Did he have customers?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah, there was 2 people queuing up. I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, there was no way I'd be buying any ice cream from no ice cream van at this. I mean, no chance. No chance. But good to have you on. I see you rocking the. You know what? Every time I see you wearing that bruised banana top, I get vexed, man, because I ain't got one of those.
You haven't got one?
I ain't got one.
How? You're Don Robbie.
Listen, man, I ain't got one. I ain't got one, man. I mean, Adidas didn't send me nothing.
Don't worry,
you know what I mean? You got the plug, innit? Yeah, I mean, because what is it? They only issued a certain amount of them, wasn't it?
Can't remember what number it was, but yeah, I think it was in the 200s, I think. So not that many, or 300.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I really like that. I really like that, man. Maybe they should make that the kit for next season.
Innit? I love it, man.
There's no point in bringing out a new kit the way things are going at the moment.
Yeah.
Because we don't even know when the season's going to start back. I mean, what have you made of everything that's been going on?
I don't even know how to put it into words. It's been so crazy because obviously when it first was announced there wasn't going to be any football, I was like, that don't make no sense. How can there not be football? But when the pandemic started, I didn't take it too seriously, I'll be honest with you. But the moment they said there's no football, that's when it hit me. I was like, right, everyone, this is serious. Everyone stay in your yard, because if there's no football, then the world's gone mad. Like it's been hard to accept, especially all of the leagues. And I thought, all right, if there's no professional football, I'll go and watch non-league football. I'll go and watch my son play on a Sunday or something like that, which I normally do when there's not a match. And everything is cancelled. That's when I realised we're living in weird, crazy times and we just don't know what's happening next.
Even today, they've cancelled now in Scotland. I see they've cancelled like not the main Premier League, but the divisions below it. They've just cancelled them. So whether the season comes back or not, it's still in doubt at the moment. I think obviously with the Premier League, they're going to be desperately trying to make that happen. But
yeah,
as you said, it's crazy at the moment. It really is crazy. I don't know what you've made of today. Arsenal's board of executives have sort of come out and made a statement. I'm going to go through this, right? What they said today, that the Arsenal executive team are going to waive more than a third of their salaries over the next 12 months in response to the coronavirus crisis. Arsenal said that also that all the other employees are going to be paid in full, and the club will not be using the government's furlough job retention scheme. They also said that private discussions have taken place with the players around the potential of the financial challenges ahead, and negotiations on wage cuts are taking place by a club-to-club basis. And what was a very stark what Arsenal came out and said today. They said that this is one of the most challenging periods in our near 134-year history.
Wow.
The potential financial impact is significant, so we must be responsible and act now to best protect Arsenal from what might happen in the months ahead. So this is serious. Also, one thing I'll add to that, they said that Arsenal fans will receive credits or refunds if matches are played behind closed doors or if they're cancelled entirely. And also casual workers will be paid for the remaining 4 home matches. And again, even if those games are rearranged, they'll be paid. So
yeah,
big news coming out from Arsenal. I'm glad that they didn't do a Tottenham or a Liverpool or a Bournemouth, who's also had to backtrack yesterday by furloughing staff. So it's good that they didn't do that. But they're, the executives, and I was sort of saying this on a show a couple of days ago where, they're putting it to the players about taking pay cuts. I'm like, well, hold on. What about the people who own the club?
Yeah, that's where you go to first.
You should be picking it up first. Well, to be fair now, they're taking a pay cut. Yeah,
you've got to start at the top. You have to. I know the board and the club has objectives, but when you was reading out that statement there, they made it sound so dire. Like at the end, what could happen with Arsenal in months to come? They made it seem like if they don't prepare themselves now, they're going to go into administration. That's what scared me in that statement. So
it's dire. They're saying the worst in the 134 year history.
I don't believe a big club like this could go under. That's how they're making it sound in that statement.
Well, they're saying they need to protect against that. I'm not. So, I don't think they're going as far as saying that the club will shut down, but they're obviously very worried about the situation. Very, very worried.
And it's crazy because you don't know how to prepare for it. So I guess it's good that they're taking these precautions now, early on. But I guess they've kind of been. I'm glad that Arsenal have done it, but I guess they've kind of been. Well, not. It's the steps they've had to take, especially when they've seen other clubs of what they've done. They can't now and go and force players to take wage cuts, which is what I believe they wanted to initially do.
Well, they're still talking to the players about pay cuts, and sorry,
that's not going to go down well at all. Especially there's big players we're trying to keep hold of, and players we're trying to get to come in, and you're talking about cutting wages.
Well, that's it. When you hear them saying that this is one of the worst periods in their 134-year history. These big signings. I mean, this morning we was talking about Coutinho.
Yeah.
Possibility of a loan where we'd have to pay half his wages, which would be about 140 grand a week, or we could buy him outright for about 75 million. Partey, who might be available for around about 45, 50 million. You start to look at it and think, well, how are those going to happen?
Yeah.
I mean, do you think those are going to happen?
I would love to. I would love to see Partey come. Even Coutinho is a good shout as well. But judging by the finances, we're not. The club's obviously not making money at the moment, actively right now. And if we're taking cuts and the executives taking cuts, I don't know where the money's going to come from. And to be fair, have United said anything else? City? Because
no, they haven't. They haven't said. I think United actually came out and said they're not making any of their players take a pay cut. They're not looking to do that.
And this is my next point, because United, it looks like all the players that we're interested in are looking to go to United. The likes of Upamecano, the likes of Partey, potentially, and we can't let that happen. But we're not in control of the situation now.
But it makes me wonder: are we going to spend any money at all?
No,
because as you said, that statement sounds dire.
Yeah, it does.
Now, if they're losing that much money, that the execs are even waiving, nearly a third of their wages, are they going to sanction a big signing coming in?
It will be a big risk. It wouldn't be a good business move for Arsenal. And as we know, we're not that proactive in transfers anyway. I mean, I think we had a good transfer window last season. It took me by surprise anyway. But I don't think that's going to be the best we're going to see for a while now, because after this, I don't think we can afford anyone.
And then remember, we ain't even paid off that yet. because we still got Pippa.
Hey, we haven't even finished. I don't think he ain't even met his personal objectives yet. I mean, he scored a couple of goals and that's about it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, you know, honestly, when you see that statement, I mean, listen, it's tough times.
Do you know what?
There's no revenue, huh?
That statement says to me now that we're going to have to take it old school and start getting players from the lower divisions, from the League Ones and the League Twos. That's what that statement says to me. I'll tell you what that statement kind of says is that right now there's another rumor that's out tonight that Arsenal are close to signing Waive and Kurzawa. Kurzawa was linked with us in January. Kurzawa, of course, left back, plays for PSG. His contract runs out at the end of this season and he's available on a free. Arsenal were linked with him in January. A lot of the rumours said that it was actually Mikel Arteta who said, actually, we don't want him. But now lots and lots of rumours flying around that they're going to take him. Now, that would be perfect because he's free. It ain't going to cost nothing. And he's a left back. Now, in the left back positions, in case I'm not wrong, we've got Tierney, we've got Kolasinac, Saka can play there. Do we need someone? I mean, if money is tight, why are we bringing in Kurzawa? Maybe. I mean, even though it'd be a free transfer, you've still got wages to pay for. You know what I'm thinking then, that you've mentioned that? Maybe, no one quote me on this, maybe Kolasinac is on the way out because he's actually one of our highest earners at the club. He's on a really big wage bracket weekly. So maybe they're planning on saying, do you know what, Saka's been doing well. Let's get him a new salary, get him up there a bit, get rid of Kolasinac, bring in another left back. I don't know.
But then I don't even know if we need a new left back because even if Kolasinac went, Saka was brilliant.
Yeah.
And you've got Tierney to come in. Why would you need another left back? I don't really get that one.
I never get the transfer rumours. I never understand them. We always go for things that we don't even need at that time.
I mean, Omar there saying Kurzawa isn't good enough.
No, you don't reckon?
And he hasn't really pulled up trees. You know, he came into PSG with quite a good reputation, but he hasn't really lived up to it. But yeah,
it's a free transfer, right?
Free.
Yeah. Well.
And you know we like frees.
Yeah.
Right?
So.
And I think we better get used to frees now because, you know, when you hear that news, you know, you're thinking to yourself. I mean, as I said, the Coutinhos and these things that we're hearing about, I can't see any of those happening.
You just got to dream about it now. It's not a reality.
Jamie says, love you too. Right? He swear if I had 2 billion, he said, and Arsenal, love from Kentucky. I think he said if he had the 2 billion, he'd buy Kroenke out. I mean,
is that enough?
Could you? Well, I think if somebody went to him with ridiculous money, that would be the only way he'd sell.
Yeah.
No, but you know, it's I mean, I don't know, man. I'm worried at the moment, like you said, for the transfers this season because it's.
But when haven't you been worried about the transfers?
No, but I'm even more.
This is a new low, isn't it? This is the all-time low.
Sam says, hi, Robbie. Deep down, if you look at the Arsenal squad, all we need is a good defensive midfielder player and get rid of Granit Xhaka. I mean, what do you think? Is that all we need?
Oh, we need a bit more than that. But, I mean, Xhaka's been good recently. But, of course, if I had to make the decision, I would let him go and hopefully bring in the likes of Thomas Partey in the midfield. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, but we can only dream. We can only dream. Where's all the money gone? Because you've got fans like me and even more dedicated than me that buy shirts every season, everyone, home, away, third kit. There's money coming in. So where is it? Where is it? Where's the money?
You're asking me? Ask Stan. I mean, listen, they'll say that they've been spending it and they'll say, you know, that Arsenal made a loss last season of nearly £26 million because they didn't make it into the Champions League. So basically they're saying that the money isn't there at the moment. And the longer we stay out of the Champions League, the worse the finances get. And if it's like a, you know, ever repeating cycle because then you've got to have a team that's good enough to get into the Champions League, haven't you? Where's that? Sorry, I was just trying to get this comment here. This one, LD says, I think Aubameyang will go and we won't replace him. Lacazette and Eddie up front. Money for Aubameyang will be used to pay off the Pepe deal.
You got it the wrong way around. I think they're going to get rid of Lacazette because there's a team who wants him again. Is it Atletico?
Atletico is said to be interested in him, yeah.
I think they would want to keep Aubameyang because obviously he's the more critical striker between the two if we're looking at stats. So
yeah, but he's only got a year left.
I don't know how we're going to keep him.
It's not looking great at the moment. It's not looking great. Pranav saying Arsenal is a poorly run club. Do you think we're a poorly run club?
I mean, I think we could be run better. There's so many instances where things have happened. I just think, wow, this is embarrassing, man. No wonder certain people can confidently come online and banter us because certain things, especially the whole Xhaka Emery incident that happened as well. There's so many incidents, but I wouldn't say poorly run club. It could be run a lot better though.
I mean, people are moaning and just saying that, we're not spending the money, but over the years, apart from, like you said, last year we were encouraged because, the Pepe thing that was unexpected, and we made some good signings. But what do you think we need when you look at that squad? What do you think we need at the moment?
Do you know what I'm gonna answer that with? I'm gonna answer that with the squad that I've built on my little career mode. So I brought in a young right back in Max Aarons from Norwich.
Okay.
Yeah, I brought in Upamecano, which Arsenal players, we've looked at him before. I don't think he's going to come. Apparently, he's going to Manchester, either United or City, but that would be a good shout in centre back. Thomas Partey, another right winger, Bundia from Norwich. I'm taking all the Norwich ones now. I like the colour yellow. I just think, we need a couple more younger players that are also experienced. And I mean, in a dream world, I'd love to keep Aubameyang for a bit longer and kind of build an attacking formation around him, but I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's not looking good with the Aubameyang situation. Invincible says Saka is not a left back. He just stepped up due to injuries and done a bloody good job too. Maybe use him in his more natural position in the future. He's not a left back, but he performed brilliantly as a left back. So why can't he become a left back? I mean, he was exceptional in that position. And, if we keep playing him there, he will get better and better and better in that position. So,
but then again,
he did step in to help out, but I thought he was superb.
But if we play him in the left mid or left wing, then we can finally take Aubameyang out of that situation and play more centrally.
That's true, but there's other options that you could play on that left-hand side. I mean, you can play Martinelli on the left-hand side as well, you know what I mean? But or you can, if Tierney's fit, you can play Saka on the left-hand side further forward. But I just don't understand, because even though if we got Waive and Kazawa, it'd be a free transfer.
Yeah.
Still got wages to pay for.
Yeah, that's true.
Wages is normally the biggest part of the deal, because that's what a club is committing to with that contract over the next few years. So I'm a bit surprised by this whole Kazawa thing. Listen, we don't know if it's 100% certain to happen, but there are lots of rumours going around that it's on the verge of happening. It's crazy. I was trying to find this comment here. These comments are moving so quickly.
I know.
It's really hard to pin them down. Alexander says, Paul Pogba to Arsenal. He said he was an Arsenal supporter when he was young. I read that where he said he was an Arsenal supporter when he was young. We had no chance of getting a player like Pogba. And that's we should be looking at players like that, but Arsenal are just not in for these type of players. We're just not shopping at that level at the moment. Marco says, if we can't sell, then maybe we have to give some young players a free transfer just to go and get the wages, get them off the wage bill.
Players like who?
Well, that's it. That's it. It's I mean, you're looking at young players, then it would have to be Saka. He'd be worth a lot. but you don't want to lose a player like that. Martinelli, worth a lot, but you don't want to lose a player like him. Who else? Reece Nelson.
Guendouzi maybe, but you don't want to lose a player like
you don't want to, you know, why bring in players to develop and they're doing really well and then you sell them on? It just defeats the whole object, you know? So, nah. Caden says, what do you think of that striker at Celtic, Edouard? Cheap and promising replacement for Aubameyang.
Yeah, someone else mentioned that to me the other day, actually.
Yeah, I'm sorry. He's all right, but he's a good player, but he's not Aubameyang.
Yeah,
you know, he's not Aubameyang. You know? So,
it's very hard to find another Aubameyang in this climate.
Exactly, that's why you shouldn't be selling him. Sean here says, Robbie, how would you feel if Mayweather was to be Arsenal's new owner? I'm sure he would take anyone right now over Kroenke.
No.
Mayweather? Money Mayweather?
No.
Cash in the cash?
No.
What club was he saying the other day he was interested in some club, innit? I can't remember which club he was in.
Newcastle.
Newcastle, yeah. I think it was more of a PR thing he was trying to. He's got money, though.
It's like, yeah, I'll buy Newcastle. You don't know what he's talking about.
But he's not even a billionaire. He's got a lot of money, but he's not nowhere near the sort of money that you're talking about with somebody like Stan Kroenke.
He doesn't spend well either. So judging by his social media and the way he likes to flash money, I don't think he'll be a good person to run a business.
Well, you know what? Maybe he'd be the sort of guy that you could put pressure on, though. You could say, come on, Mayweather, you said you got a lot of money. Keep on with Aubameyang then. And he might just do it because he wants to show off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, let's all go spam his comments.
Ikem says, Stan Kroenke has the LA Rams and the Denver Nuggets. The last 2 to 3 years, the Rams nearly made the Super Bowl. They did make the Super Bowl, remember? And they lost the final, but they did make the Super Bowl. And the Nuggets are one step away from the NBA Finals. But Arsenal are miles off the league.
You don't care about this.
Does that offer hope? Because the LA Rams did get to the Super Bowl. I think it was not the season just gone, the season before. They lost, but they did get there.
Oh, that's prize money.
And the Nuggets, I didn't know the Nuggets were one step away from the NBA Finals. But that is another one of his team, the Denver Nuggets.
Yeah.
But we're nowhere near.
He doesn't care.
I don't care about those teams. We're nowhere near.
You don't care about this club over here. I don't even know who encouraged him to buy it. I don't know what he was thinking. I think the Arsenal fans, no? Is that the reason?
Nice bit of real estate in London.
Yeah.
Because that's what it seems to be at the moment. Let's get this one here. The Prince of Peace Media says, sell Aubameyang and get in Fekir, Aware, and get a DM, probably Partey. But listen, selling Aubameyang wouldn't get, I mean, that Aware, I think they're talking about 50 million plus for him.
Jeez.
Partey, 50 million. That's 100 million already. Fekir probably be cheaper, but, you know, that's already 100 million for Aubameyang as well. Let's remember, we're not going to get
a lot.
100 million or nothing like that, especially in these times. I think we do well to get like 40 million for Aubameyang in the last year.
Oh, no. At least 55. I know he's getting old.
1 year left.
I know.
With 1 year left, 30.
He might as well stay.
Well, I was putting the case for him to stay anyway. Akash says Danny Ings as the Aubameyang replacement. That's Danny Ings. Is he what?
Is that an Arsenal fan that's read that, or Southampton?
It must be Southampton. And here's Frankie says, Lyle, lad. Lyle, lad. You didn't read out my message? Well, I just did. I just did read out your message. I mean, Aubameyang, is he staying?
We would like to hope so. I don't see what's the point of leaving. Where are you going to go? Where's he going?
I was saying that the other day. I was saying, you know, if you look at the options available to Aubameyang, where is he? If, as he, you know, the talk is he wants to go and win things.
I don't blame him.
With the lack of money that's around at the moment with a lot of football clubs, and the fact that I don't think a lot of the big clubs are going to be selling players, which club would he go to? The only club I could see that I could see that they would be really interested in Aubameyang might be, say, Chelsea. And are Chelsea necessarily going to win the league? I mean, they're just as far off the league as we are, aren't they?
Yeah.
Probably a little bit closer than we are. But where else would he go? He's not going to go to. He's not going to go to Real Madrid. He's not going to go to Barcelona. They've got their strikers already. He's not going to go to Bayern. They've got Lewandowski. He's not going to go to Inter. They got Lukaku. He's not going to go to PSG. They've got Mbappe, Icardi. Where's he going to go?
Man United. I know I've said that name so many times now.
Man United, but Man United have got Alexis coming back. Remember, they said that they're definitely going to let him come back. They've got Rashford. They've got Martial, and they've got Greenwood. Mm-hmm. Would they fork out mega money on him, or would they fix the other positions where they're more in need? So I'm looking on it and I'm thinking, but as I've been saying all along, do Arsenal really want to keep him? That's the thing that I look on. Do Arsenal want to keep Aubameyang, or are they looking to cash in? And when you see those stories about how dire things are, maybe they're looking to cash in.
Maybe.
Jamie Gregory says Martinelli is the man to replace him for sure. Spend the money on a centre-back and CM. Martinelli replace Aubameyang for you?
Martinelli's good. What I've seen of him so far, I love what I see, but that's those boots are too big to fill.
Okay.
Not right now. Not right now, anyway. I mean,
Amari says, do you think Aubameyang's potential departure could make Laka want to leave as well?
Oh, that's a good. I didn't even think about that. You know, I thought Laka's, even though they've got a really good friendship, it seems on and off the pitch. I thought that would be a perfect opportunity for Lacazette to get back into that. You know, the main guy, number 9, obviously, he's goal scorer. But no, man, why is he going to follow? Just because they're friends, I mean, he's going to follow him wherever he's going. I don't think he'd want to leave.
Yeah, I don't think it would come down to this is more friendship. Here's this guy here saying, Arnav saying, do not put too much pressure on Martinelli, and I agree with that.
Yeah,
I agree with that. You know what I mean? There's a lot of pressure being put onto, you know, people saying, oh yeah, Martinelli will replace him. We got to remember his age. We got to remember he's not had a full season in the first team yet. A lot of his games have been in the Europa League and other things. You know what I mean? He's a great talent, and I think he's going to be a fantastic player, but we don't want to burn him out too early, do we?
Exactly.
Raf says, keep Aubameyang till the end of his contract and hope that once we let Ozil go, we can bump up his wages with Ozil's. Is Ozil the problem here?
Why have you got to do that? Huh? Why would Ozil be the problem here? Because of his wages are so high.
Yeah.
I mean, that would be the obvious thing for me to do. I mean, he's coming towards the end of his time anyway. As much as I love Ozil, I'll look at the wages and think, right, we need to save money here. So why not move Ozil on? But then again, where's he going to go? Galatasaray or something? I don't know.
Who cares if we get any of those wages? That's down to him, isn't it?
And then obviously more, because I think is what he wants anyway.
Mike Dennis says, do you rate Joe Willock?
I do, but I feel like, I don't think many people are going to agree with me when I say this, but I feel like he needs to go out on loan.
Loan?
Yeah.
Why?
I know, because at the beginning of the season, they didn't hype it up, but like during media and stuff, they made it seem like this is Joe's season to, you know, step into this first team and do what he needs to do. But I haven't been that impressed. He's done well, but if I'm looking at players, I'm looking at I'm looking at Saka for young players and Martinelli. Like, his name doesn't pop up much, does it? Because he hasn't done that much. Okay,
so do you rate him or not?
I do rate him. I rate him.
Right. Okay. Jake says, to be honest, when we bought Lacazette, I thought he was going to be like Aubameyang. To be honest, there's no difference, and there was no difference between Laka and Giroud. If anything, Giroud scored and did more.
He makes a good point there, you know.
I don't know, Lacazette was our player of the season last year. Remember, you forget that.
Yeah, no, I remember.
Udez says it's better to sell Aubameyang now because his mind is no longer with Arsenal. for a long time. Come on, Martinelli, you can fill the gap.
Why is everyone?
Why would you say his mind's not been on Arsenal for a long time? I don't agree with that. He's carried Arsenal this season.
Maybe that's what he's fed up of.
He's carried on. I think there was some stat that they said if you took away all of his goals, Arsenal would have been in the bottom 3.
Yeah.
I don't know where they get that from. Serious. His mind has been on Arsenal. No, he's a captain, you know. Robbie Bash here from Australia. Big up. He says, I honestly think Kroenke is digging deep in his pocket this transfer season. It's the best time to invest because players are cheap and other teams won't have big funds.
You would hope so.
Huh?
You would hope so.
I don't see that. I don't see Stan Kroenke digging deep in his pockets now during this coronavirus crisis where he's going to have a good excuse to not dig deep. I just, he doesn't dig deep in times when, things are going well, let alone I can't see him digging deep. I don't know. Squadjan says, I like that name, Squadjan Maldini. He says, Oye or Partey? I would say Oye. Oye is a good player. Midfield. I think Partey would be more
suitable.
What we could do now because we do need a defensive midfielder. I think we do need a top quality defensive midfielder. And Partey, I've seen him play quite a lot, and I like him. Here's one for you, Pippa. Daniel Wright says, your thoughts on Leeds United? My
thoughts on them?
Yeah.
I like Leeds. And obviously they've helped us develop a couple of young players. So I like Leeds. And they're doing well, isn't it? Where were they at first?
Yeah. Do you think they'll come up?
They were doing really well.
What if everything gets cancelled and they don't get to come up? I mean, everyone's been talking about Liverpool, but Leeds fans will be worried as hell right now.
Yeah, man. I hope that we don't know what's going to happen, but I'd be gutted for them, to be honest, because they've worked so hard. They were first for ages, even when we played them in the cup.
Yeah. Ashwin says, exchange Aubameyang with Kante. Chelsea want a striker. Arsenal need a DM. What do you think of that, Robbie and Pippa?
Robbie and who? That says pipe.
What do you think?
That's a strange one. I mean, I was going to say, sorry, my eyes are really watering here. I was going to say that the only fear I have of letting go of Aubameyang is I always refer back to the season when we almost won the league when we didn't have a striker. And I know that if Aubameyang leaves, Lacazette can step up there, but I'm not too keen on this whole letting Aubameyang go. But if he was to go, that's a decent proposition there because Kante is a workhorse, isn't he?
Okay. Well, what's wrong with Torreira?
Nothing.
So, I mean, if we give him game time, he doesn't seem to play week in, week out. But he was supposed to be our Kante, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's done really since he's played in the position he's meant to play in. He's done really well. What are you saying that if Kante comes, that Torreira gets forgotten about?
Well, it would be, isn't it? Because they play in exactly the same position.
True.
Ruben Isaac says, if Arsenal sign Upamecano, Partey, then we United guys and the entire league will seriously have to fear Arsenal. He's a Man United fan, obviously.
When was the last time anyone feared Arsenal, though?
That's true. That's a sad thing.
Yeah.
That's a sad thing. I was doing a stream earlier on. I was on Mark Goldbridge's channel.
Yeah.
And we were sort of reminiscing about, the fact that when our two teams used to be the best teams, and
those were the good times.
And it just seems so long ago now. You know what I mean? We're just miles off. Winfred says, if Mike Ashley can sell Newcastle, then Kroenke can sell Arsenal. Yeah, Mike Ashley about to sell. And again, I was talking about that this morning. They're on the verge of selling it to these Arabs from Saudi Arabia. And you know what they come with?
Yeah, I'm telling you.
A lot of money. Which means, going to be another club to seriously worry about when they come on the scene.
Damn.
Alpha Kenny says, hey, Robbie, do you think Saliba will be ready for next season? By the way, when is the next cooking video coming out? I'm working on a new cooking video. Saliba, is he ready, Pippa?
I hope so. I mean, he had an injury in any season, but yeah, I mean, it'll be good to see fresh legs in centre back. But at the same time, I'm hoping for. I'm still waiting to see that Holding and Chambers in partnership. I don't think we're ever going to see it. I don't think we're ever going to see it now. So
we're not going to see that.
No.
Pippa, would you bring Rambo back? If so, why?
I would. I would, because he was so. I don't understand why he was never spoken about enough. He was so critical for us in those last couple of years before he left. And everyone always asked me, especially like when 2020 started, was like, who's your favourite player of the decade, 2010, 2020? And I always say Cazorla and Ramsey, because those two players were key for us. And he done so much and he had so much flair. And I don't know why he wasn't spoken about enough. And obviously helped us win FA Cups. And yeah, man, to see the play that he grew into was amazing. That's why Juventus went for him, So, I mean, there's talks of him, Juventus letting him go. So if he was to come back, it'd be great.
There's talks that if he was let go, Man United and Chelsea are looking at him.
No, and I bet he would go Chelsea as well. I bet he would go.
One here from Africa, Robbie and Pippa. What is your best current starting 11? Arsenal.
Best current one?
What would be your best starting 11 right now?
Well, definitely Leno in goal.
Right back.
It's hard to pick left back as. What'd you say? Right back.
Right back.
Controversial. I would pick Maitland-Niles over Bellerin.
Okay. Centre backs.
Centre back. I would have David Luiz in there, and I guess I'll say Socrates.
Left back.
It's hard for me to say Tierney. I'd love to say Tierney, but obviously since he's come, he's played twice or just about that.
Yeah.
So in the ideal world, I'd say Tierney, but from what I've seen, I would say Saka left back.
All right. Defensive midfielders, 2 midfielders holding.
Torreira definitely in there. I would love to see a midfield trio of Torreira, Ceballos, and Ozil.
Okay, and then up front.
Obviously, Aubameyang up front. Pepe on the right. Yeah, that's when it gets a bit technical, isn't it? So it gets. Who am I playing on the left? So it gets a bit technical.
I'll put Martinelli on there.
As your best starting 11. Your best starting 11.
I think I always want to have like Aubameyang and Lacazette in the team, but there seems to be a bit of balance when Aubameyang's down the middle and Martinelli's on the left.
Yes.
Although I'm never against them two. I'm not against, because Aubameyang scores goals from out wide, but he's so good down the middle as well. Do we lose something by not having him there?
And to be fair, to mention that, if you picking Martinelli on the left, we can't forget about the link up between Saka and Martinelli on that left wing, because what they've created together so far when they've played together, it's been amazing.
So that would be your best 11.
Well, yeah, I guess I'll go with that.
Who would you get rid of right now?
Ooh, all right, Mustafi. Possibly Kolasinac, even though I like him, but possibly Kolasinac. Ozil. This is if I was a manager or like running off. Ozil, and I love Ozil, so that says a lot. And who else would I get rid of? Bellerin.
Oh, there's a few people recently that said they get rid of Bellerin. That's
that's only because, and this is no fault of his own, but the injury is never going to be the same again after that, is he? And it's the same with Jack Wilshere. He was going to be our was going to be our big game player. It was going to be the next big thing, and then injury ruined you.
Let me ask you, Pippa, what about the women's game at the moment? Because everybody's been talking about, the fact that the men, they ain't playing, wages, wage cuts and blah, blah, blah. But what about the women's game at the moment? I mean, what's happening with that?
God knows. Because that's something that doesn't get discussed. At all, really. I haven't heard any conversations anyway. The only conversations I hear are when players decide to go on Instagram lives and go on social media and have their own conversations. If it wasn't for those, there'll be no stories being told because we have no clue. And as far as I'm aware, you know, as positive as the players are staying, it's not a good time for them. A lot of them don't have the facilities. A lot of them, not a lot of them, but a couple of them don't have gardens to even train in. You know, obviously they don't live in houses like Premier League players live in. So I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know how they stay mentally and physically prepared for what could possibly come. We're going to have another preseason, I reckon, another mini. I mean,
what state will the women's game be in at the end of this? I mean, people are talking about how the men's game, which is, let's have it right, that's where all the money is, how that's going to get a big hit. What about the women's games? Teams like, was it that team that played Arsenal the other day, Lewes and
Lewis women,
Lewis. I mean, what's going to happen to these teams? Certain women's teams have only just started getting professional momentum and getting professional and getting going, and now this comes along. What's, you know, the women's game was starting to hit a bit of a momentum. What's going to happen?
We could go back to square one. I don't know. Don't quote me on that, but it could go back to square one where they're going to have to start, you know, contracts are going to have to start being redesigned, and, you know, I don't know what's going to happen to them. And obviously, hopefully the league will stay professional. I don't see that not happening because it's got the funding from Barclays. So I don't know though. It's all in the air at the moment.
And you make a good point when you talk about, a lot of these players, they don't have gardens and stuff like that to play in and stuff like that. They don't live in the big mansions like the men's.
I have to say, this was a few weeks ago now. Leah Williamson was live with Alex Scott. Does a live every day at 6:30, and Leah Williamson was a guest on there. And so Alex obviously asked her, you know, how's things? How are you coping? And she was like, well, I don't have a garden, first of all. And second of all, to train, she keeps her weights in the boot of her car, and she has to train next to her car because obviously the weights are too heavy to carry into the house. So like, just hearing things like that, you just think, wow, literally leagues and miles apart from the men who.
Yeah, and she's one of the top women's players. Isn't she? She's one of Arsenal's top players. She's an England player, and you know, when you hear that, so
crazy.
It's going to be particularly tough on the women's game.
Yeah, 100%. I just hope it doesn't get hot now. So we've worked so hard for it to be where it is. Yeah.
JJ Ash says, big up Don Robbie and Pippa. When will football be back? Well, who knows? Bertrand Soups. Robbie, your favourite reggae artist? No one's asked me that before on this show.
I might ask you.
Favourite? Gosh.
Come on, Rob.
Like Buju.
Yeah.
Buju Bantan, Capleton.
Yeah,
I like my MCs, man.
Yeah.
I like my MCs, old school MCs, man. Vibes Cartel.
Barrington Levy?
Sort of, but I like Cartel. Vibes Cartel.
Yeah.
Huh?
A bit of Vibes Cartel.
I like a bit of Vibes Cartel, man.
That's a ton up.
Pippa, what would you rate Ozil under Arteta this season? What score would you give him out of 10?
6 out of 10.
So he hasn't really improved. So you don't think he's improved that much under Arteta then?
It's hard to compare because under Emery, did he even really play? He didn't really play under Emery. We hardly saw him. We saw him in a Carabao Cup game at home. What game was that? We won 5-0. And he got.
I know you're a big lover of Ozil, but is he done now?
Is he done?
Is he done at Arsenal?
I think so.
When we see him play, are we just sort of reminiscing about, you know, some of the stuff that he's done in the past? Because, for instance, I mean, he doesn't score any goals, does he?
No, he's not a goal-scoring Cam, not at all. But he didn't. When he was in his prime at Arsenal, he didn't score goals either. He just had great link-up play with Alexis Sanchez. So,
but even the link-up play, he's not really made a lot of assists recently, has he?
Yeah. Well, you're only going to blame him for that?
No, I'm not only blaming him for it, but I'm just. Is he? I mean, huh?
What about the players around him? It's not often that you can play in a team with players and you can just understand each other.
Well, what's wrong with it? He gets a lot of excuses made for him right now. The players around him: Nicolas Pepe, Aubameyang, Lacazette, Martinelli. Come on, surely you can create assists for them.
Oh yeah, I don't know. Maybe he's done then. Maybe.
Huh?
Maybe he's done. Maybe.
Pippa, which players really annoyed you this season?
Ooh. Lacazette.
Lacazette. Why?
Because I know what he's capable of, and he's not performing to that standard. And as you said, he was player of the season last season, and like he's just taken 10 steps back. I don't know what. Maybe that injury pre-season, I don't know, has just mentally had an effect on him. I don't know what's happened, but after that injury, since he's come back, he's not been the same player. And I know he's growing back into the game, but we've had a lot of games since then, so I don't know what's happened, man.
If we could buy only one player in the transfer window, who would you take, Partey or Upamecano?
Oh, why only one? I mean, will we even get one? I think Partey.
Partey. Okay, me as well. I don't know, actually. That question's a lot tougher than I thought.
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
we need a good defensive midfielder.
Exactly, but we
need a centre back. How long
is David Luiz here for?
Huh?
How long is David Luiz here for? And then I don't think Mustafi and
Luiz got another year. Luiz has got another year. Yeah, that's a good question. That's a very good question. You know that?
Yeah.
That's because we could do with a really good defensive midfielder to protect the back four, but then we could do with a commanding centre back as well. And that Upamecano, everything I've seen about that guy, I really like.
And everyone wants him.
Upamecano. I'll go Upamecano, yeah. JJ says we want to see Loomis on a live broadcast. We can look that up. Don't worry about that. Winfred says, Robbie, what's your special announcement? Now, the special announcement is this. This weekend, we're going to be doing a 24-hour live stream starting from 12 o'clock right back to 12 o'clock the next day, 24 hours right through. It's us, AFTV, and United Stand, and we're going to be doing it in blocks. So we're kicking it off on Saturday from 12 o'clock, from 12 till 3. Then United Stand pick it up from 3 till 6. Then we come back in at 6 till 9, and you get me. We go right through the morning, go through to the next day, and we finish at 12. Now, the whole point of this is that we're raising money for the NHS. All the revenues from the videos are going to go to the NHS. We're going to be asking you guys if you could kindly donate. We're going to have a Just Giving page, which has already been set up, actually. So we'll put that link in the description where you can donate to the NHS. We're going to be any super chats or whatever. All of that will be going to the NHS during that 24-hour stream. Today, I've been on the phone to loads of different celebs and YouTubers and stuff like that. Pippa was one of them. Lots of them. And I've got to say, there's so many people that are going to be jumping on the stream that everybody wants to be involved in it, and it's absolutely brilliant. So we'll be doing lots of interviews and different things right throughout the whole 24 hours. We're going to have fans from every football club. It's not just an Arsenal thing. We're going to have fans from all the Premier League clubs and beyond. It's about bringing as many people on as possible. Yeah. We got quizzes lined up. We got loads of things happening. And so I know you're at home, you're bored, you've got nothing to do in this lockdown. For 24 hours, we are going to be here broadcasting to you. And as I said, to raise money for our brilliant NHS, who literally right now, I describe them as our soldiers. Yeah. They're right there on the front line. And I know, Pippa, you as you said, you're a key worker at the moment. You guys are on the front line. Yeah. You got to be out and about when everybody's, they're saying stay at home, don't go nowhere. I went out earlier to the shops, I had my gloves on and stuff. Other people having to go out there and actually deal with people who are suffering from the coronavirus. Yeah. And we've seen a lot of doctors, nurses have passed away from this. That's how serious, you know, from coming into contact with people that they're trying to help. So just that little bit. I mean, we're not. I don't think we'll raise as much money as that. Have you seen that guy, the 99-year-old guy who's he's an army veteran, and he's walking with his little walker. He's doing 100 laps around his garden. He hoped to raise £1,000. He said he raised £8 million.
That's insane, but it's amazing.
99 years old.
Doing 100 laps.
100 laps. Sometimes I'll say to my kids, go down the shop, they don't even want to do that. Right? 99. You know, it's unbelievable, absolutely unbelievable. So please, we want all of your help. We want you to watch the stream, because the more of you watch the stream, the more money we make. And as I said, all of it is going to be going to the NHS. It's being supported by YouTube, so thank you very much to those guys. Getting a lot of support for it. We're hoping to get a couple of real surprise guests on as well, so you're gonna have to look out for that. But it's going to be good. And I know, Pippa, you're involved. You're on in the evening time, aren't you? You're between 6 and 9. She'll be on, so it's going to be good. Make sure you tune in. So that's the big announcement. Thank you, Jake. It says fair play, Robbie, on raising money. It's not just me. As I said, it's a collective effort across all people involved in football, all the fans. So it's a football fans thing, and we're calling it football fans for the NHS. So join us on Saturday, 12, right through to 12. It's going to be a long day. But you know what? We ain't going nowhere, are we? So
that's my day off as well, so yeah, I'm not going anywhere.
We ain't going there nowhere, man. So, you know, we may as well try and do our best. You know. Couple more we're going to do here. William says, what about Gnabry? He loves to score against London clubs. Love from Sweden. Well, that's one that we let go, innit? I mean,
I hate seeing that name come up, because every time I see it, I'm just like, why did we let him go? At the time, I feel like I was one of the only few that was upset about this. And now, look, they're all seeing how good he was, isn't it?
Remember he went to West Brom, though, and he flopped.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Tony Pulis wouldn't even play him, said he was too fat and things like that.
Yeah. But we have to remember the time that Walcott was out when he came in to cover for him, and he done absolute bits. And we didn't really know of him before that. Like, we didn't really know his name. I always remember that seeing him play in quite a few games, and I've always been very impressed with him. He's very quick, strong. Yeah, the thing that's like really impressed me since he's gone to Bayern is his finishing. You know, absolutely, his finishing is just like brilliant, really, really brilliant. So I mean, yeah, and you know, you look on that and you just think, this is why. And as this guy here says here, why is Saka not signed to a contract? This is why we've got to sign Saka up. We cannot afford to have another Gnabry situation here, because the potential that I see in Saka, obviously it's a different position, but he's going to be a top player. Top. We got to sort out a contract for him. We got to get that done sooner rather than later. Yeah. I mean, is he surprised you, Saka, this season? Yeah, 100%. I mean, I watched a couple of the academy games, but I didn't really. Out of all the academy players, Saka was not the one I paid attention to. It was more like Logans and stuff. So when I see him come through and he was doing all that, I was like, wow, okay, I need to pay attention more.
Let me ask you this, right? As you know, an expert on women's football, you know, expert. You are an expert. You're the person. You know, you do our women's football show. You're the person that you're always on all these shows. They're always asking you your opinion on it. Vivian Miedema. Yeah. If she was a man, how much would she be worth?
Oh, right. Money. Because we have to. Robbie, are you mad? This is like world record signing, because she's young. She's early 20s. She's top goal scorer for consecutive seasons, top goal scorer for a national team. She's broke the record for Netherlands top goal scorer. I think the men's team as well. Her stats are wild, and she's not even a number 9. That wasn't her original role, but she prefers she prefers being a number 10. I believe when I spoke to her a while ago. Yeah, I would say 100 million minimum.
You know what? Because when I've watched her play, some of the goals that she scores, her finishing,
It's perfect.
I'm like, she sort of reminds me. I hate to say it because we don't want to bring him up on the show, but I've said it to you before that she reminds me she's like a female Harry Kane.
I won't say it again.
It's true.
If I won't say anyone, I would have preferred you say, which people won't like this either, Robin van Persie.
Okay.
Yeah?
You know why I say Kane here? Because everything she hits is always on target. And that's what I always say about Kane, right? When you watch Harry Kane play, he always gets. I think that's one of the reasons he scores so many goals, because he always gets it on target. She's very similar. She's very precise in her shooting, and that she always gets it on target. And I was just wondering that, but I could always look at her and think, if you was a male player, you'd be one of the biggest players around.
Amazing, and she's so humble as well. Like, she's always nominated for awards, and she doesn't lap it up. This is just what she does. It's just in her nature to just go for it.
The women players are so much more humble than the men, aren't they?
Yeah, so calm. Like sometimes, because I'm such a fangirl, because like when I see how they play on the pitch, I'm like in awe of them. So when I talk to them and they just talk to me normal, I think, oh wow, you're just so cool. Like, I'm like excited to meet you. You're just like, hey Pippa. I'm like, oh, you know my name? Like, it's crazy because they're literally like, I idolize them. They're amazing.
I remember that time I went to there was the women's game that a couple of seasons ago. What was it? At Wickham, when they played in the final. I think it was against City. Is it the Continental Cup, Conti Cup? I think they played City. They beat them.
Yeah. And
at the end of the game, they were walking around with a trophy, and they were giving it to people in the crowd to hold and take pictures with.
They did that as well. I even got to touch it.
It's unbelievable.
With them I was all taking their photos on the pitch with them when they had the trophy when they won the league last season. And yeah, they were taking pictures with the fans. They even do it at the Emirates sometimes, before games. They did it once.
Yeah, I ain't never seen the men. Well, we really had not to people to touch it. Pippa, deal with this guy. This guy says women's football is so boring.
He's lying.
Tell him why he's chatting crap.
He's lying. He's probably basing that on, I'll be deadly honest, a game that he watched about 7 years ago or 5 years ago. If you was to watch an Arsenal women's game right now, or a Man City game, or a Chelsea game, or even a Man United, Everton, so many of the teams now in the top flight WSL play physical, strong, fast-paced football, the football that you want to see. And I have to say, even though it's not our team, one of my favourite games this season was Man City Chelsea. It was they drew 3-3. It was such a physical game, and obviously Man City Arsenal in the Conti Cup semi-final at home. You have to watch a game recently. You have to go there. I mean, go there. The tickets are affordable when the women's game comes back. Go to a game, watch it, and then reevaluate.
Well, we went. That wasn't the last game. That's the last game I've seen of football. Was a women's game. Was you with you, wasn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You wasn't at West Ham, was you? Was you West Ham men at home?
Yeah, yeah. Did that come after that women's game we went to?
Yeah, after, but yeah, the women's game was one of the last games.
We went to the final, didn't we?
Yeah.
Which Chelsea stole that final off of Arsenal.
Last minute winner.
Oh, the West Ham game was after that.
I'm sure it was. Yeah, that's the last game I went to.
I thought the West Ham game was before that.
Oh, you're confusing.
Maybe you're right. It's so long since I've been. I've even forgot what football. What's the rules again? What's offside?
No rules.
Winfrey says, "Can we swap the women for the men?" I mean, listen, the women have been very successful over recent years, so you could see the reason why people would be saying that. Michael says, Lacazette at CAM with Aubameyang up top, in a 4-3-3. That seems to be his preferred formation. So he would have Lacazette and Aubameyang up front. Let's get one more. This guy says, Robbie, I still have nightmares of Aubameyang's miss at Olympiacos.
I bet he does too.
I was with my mate Chris, right? And we thought he'd gone in.
Did you?
We thought it gone in. We were like, yes, and then we looked at it, huh? Why is Aubameyang holding his head for? He scored. Surely he scored that. I could not believe it, man. I could not believe when we conceded.
Yeah.
And that was a hard game. That was hard to take, that one. That was hard to take. But it is what it is. Listen, I'll take that right now because it's football. And we haven't seen no football for a very, very long time. But Pippa, thank you very, very much for coming on the show today. It's been brilliant. Really enjoyed it. And look forward to seeing you on Saturday when you're going to be part of the big live stream that we're doing. And once again, just remind everybody that come this Saturday, 24-hour live stream, AFTV and United Stand are teaming up to do it. We're going to be going back and forth with it, as I said. We've got lots and lots of guests coming on throughout the 24 hours, raising money for the NHS. So please, please, please come and get involved in that. It's going to be brilliant. Starts from 12 o'clock. We kick it off 12 o'clock on Saturday, ends 12 o'clock Sunday. United Stand will be bringing it home. So make sure you check it out on both channels. It's going to be absolutely brilliant. Pippa, thanks once again. Thanks for coming on. And thanks to everybody. Don't forget, we'll be back in the morning with another show. But I'm out.